Tonight, we are going to bring you face to face with a scam that we believe will ultimately go down in history as one of the biggest scams that have been seen so far in India. And guess what? The person who appears to be the mastermind so far is an individual who has not been known at all to the authorities so far, on whom there have been no stories which have been done, and suddenly, lo and behold, post-demonetization investigation which have been taking place by the income tax authorities, there is this new fish. We're calling it the currency Bofors scam. First, there was Augusta Westland. The biggest scam which is now being unearthed by CNN News 18 is the currency Bofors episode. You could call it the Italian connection, you could call it currency Bofors, you could call it what you may, but what you cannot deny is the fact that the threads of this big scam appear to be very, very deeply embedded. Here are some facts about what we're talking about. Delhi-based businessman Satya Prakash Gupta, alleged middleman, getting hundreds of crores in alleged kickbacks from Italian currency maker Fabriano. The firm reportedly supplied paper for Indian currency for years without any proper checks. Gupta was appointed a middleman during the regime of UPA 2. Now it turns out that income tax raids which have been carried out on his premises have revealed that Gupta was in touch with Augusta Westland officials as well. The income tax department has also written to the enforcement directorate about Gupta's financial dealings. So what are we talking about? What we're actually saying is that this man on your screen, Satya Prakash Gupta, could be Ottavio Quattrocchi Part 2. That's the seriousness of the story. He is an individual who's been in touch with Italian currency makers, and now it's turning out that this guy could also have a role to play in that infamous Augusta Westland case, in which a former air chief himself has been named as a main accused. Let me run you through some of the other critical developments on this story. What is it that's been done by the income tax department? The income tax department has unearthed this currency paper scam, which is supposedly worth hundreds of crores. Scam was unearthed while the income tax authorities were conducting their investigations post demonetization. You remember that the finance ministry had said that all suspicious transactions which had taken place within Indian banks above a certain value were going to be questioned, were going to be investigated. That's how Satya Prakash Gupta's name has now come under the scanner. He allegedly received kickbacks from Italian currency paper maker Fabriano. Fabriano's written undertaking, where the company said that they will not be using any middleman for any of their commercial transactions in India, is in possession of CNN News 18. Gupta found to have received millions of euros in his Dubai accounts through infamous tax havens. The income tax department also claims that Gupta is actually a front for some very, very powerful people. We have this letter with us where Fabriano had appointed him as an agent in 2011 during UPA 2. When we reached out to Satya Prakash Gupta, who happens to be living in New Delhi itself, he denies that he was ever an agent in the past or at present with this company, Fabriano. Now, in just a short while from now, we will tell you why Mr. Gupta has been caught outrightly lying. The fact is that this entire case, which is being described as currency Bofors, was possible only and only because Mr. Gupta had created a very, very intelligent system of receiving commissions. So this is what he was doing. He received 14% commission from Fabriano. He controlled various companies. He created small shell companies and ensured that all these euros which were being received by him could be directed to India through all those shell companies. Most payments were received by Gupta outside India. The income tax department probe triggered by transfer of this one transaction. 11 million euros were sent to Gupta's Bank of Baroda account in Dubai. That's how suddenly it appeared that Mr. Gupta was one big fish, and the income tax authorities started to zoom in on all his transactions. 7 of these 11 million euros came from a Samoa-based company which was named as Balanta. The remaining 4 of those 11 million euros came from Anglo Manx Trust. Most recently, Fabriano sent an amount of 4 million euros to Satya Prakash Gupta. Now, records of at least one earlier transaction amounting to 100 crores within India are now in physical possession of the income tax authorities. We just don't want to influence the probe which is taking place against him, and we don't want him to figure out the kind of stuff that income tax authorities have, which is why I'm using these generic terms. Otherwise, we have absolutely accurate details of how much money has been sent to Gupta by this company Fabiano. He allegedly fabricated backdated papers to show these transactions as loans. On the basis of all these facts that we have got today, we're raising the biggest question that this country needs an answer to, frankly. Bofors, Augusta Westland, and now there is currency paper scam. How many more scams need to unfold in India for us to ever get hold of the real beneficiaries, the real masterminds? How is it possible for all these big ticket, multi-million dollars scams to take place in India? Policies to be bent without any political involvement. At least we as citizens don't get to know who were the political benefactors. Very special panel joining me. Firstly, my colleague Ashish Bereshi joining us live with us in the studios. Many congratulations to you, Ashish, for breaking what I believe is going to be a landmark investigation. Vijay Shankar Pandey, former fertilizer secretary, someone who keeps a very, very close tab on investigations which have been carried on in this country related to black money. Gopal Agarwal is representing the Bharatiya Janata Party. Also with me, joining us live is Vipin Malik, another well-known financial voice. He is the former director of Central Board of Reserve Bank of India. Welcome to all of you on the show, gentlemen. Ashish, let me just first begin by asking you to tell us something about this man. How is it possible, all these figures that we have put up, and we do have papers with us. I just want our viewers to know, because many of you would be asking, why is it that I'm saying multi-million euros? Why is it I'm saying hundreds of crores? The truth is because we don't want to give accurate figures. We don't want to give absolute figures, because otherwise what happens is that the person who's under the scanner ends up using these figures to build a defense for himself, and we don't want that to happen. That aside, Ashish, this gentleman, do we know for how long was he involved with this racket which he was associated with?
Well, in fact, the documentary evidence shows that 2011 onwards, this gentleman has been as an agent. Now, in his reply to us, first he agreed to give an on-camera reaction, but later he retracted. We had sent him a detailed questionnaire. He didn't reply to the detailed questionnaire, but however, he had replied saying that he has never been an agent. Now, this is documentary evidence showing that he has been appointed as an agent. The company Fabriano, the parent company of Fabriano, Fedrogini, has given an undertaking to Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, saying they will not appoint an agent. So this is something really contradictory. Both the things, you have appointed an agent, you have not appointed an agent. And as latest as 2015, he has been appointed as an agent.
So let's just break down the story. What you're saying, Ashish, and I'm looking at this letter dated 5th of July 2011. On the 5th of July 2011, this company, Fabiano, it says that Mr. Satyaprakash Gupta is being appointed as our representative in India. And it very, very clearly says that henceforth Mr. Satyaprakash Gupta, whose passport number is also given, will be the person who will be representing us in all our business operations, and particularly, specifically speaking, the tenders which were to be floated. That's 2011. Now see what happens 4 years hence, 2015. In 2015, again the company says that this fellow Satyaprakash Gupta is a part of our layout. However, on the 29th of January 2014, just 3 months before the UPA government was to be voted out of power, UPA 2 was to be voted out of power, the same company puts out another letter and says that actually we are not putting any person as an agent in India. Now, the question that arises is this. In 2011, the company says we are going to appoint an agent. In 2014, the company says now we are not appointing an agent. Then in 2015, again the company says that the same person is an agent. Vijay Shankarji, in your experience as a top civil servant in this country, if I was to say that the only thing that was being done by this country was to build an exit route for itself, Lok Sabha elections were around the corner, India was becoming like scam destination, much better to withdraw, suddenly there's a new government and you're back in the game. Is that what was going on, sir?
This story, clearly brings out the fact that things are very easy to do in our country. You can go to any length, have any kind of scam, and you can very easily get away with it. See with what kind of, I'll say ease this has been done. You tell first you don't have any agent.
Correct.
Then you say we have this agent, and nobody noticing it.
Why, sir? I mean, these are all official letters, which I understand for a company which is participating in government bids and government tenders and sensitive bids and tenders. Surely all this paperwork must be investigated by someone.
Bhupenji, this is the most unfortunate part of our country. We have blatant facts before us. Still, we fail to bring anybody to books. It has happened in the past. It has happened with Bofors. It has happened with the defense deal. It has happened with other, kind of scams. And this is going to happen with this also. I can, say with, with a lot of sadness. This currency paper scam. If you recall, in 2010. There was a news story. It was broken from UK, and the company involved was UK. I don't want to name that company. Facts came out that the currency paper that was supplied to RBI were of inferior quality, and all the security was compromised because the same company was supplying papers to Pakistan also, and the printing also was being done. That was blacklisted. All of a sudden, after few months, you find the same company supplying papers again without anybody verifying whether all the concerns that were raised that point of time when we had stopped purchasing paper from them have they been met or not?
Just the point that you're making, sir. And I'm again looking at a note which has been prepared by the income tax authorities. And let me come to you, Vipinji. You know what this note says, sir? It says that there was a serious question mark about the operations of this company itself, this Italian company Fabiano. There was a serious question mark on whether this company should be allotted this tender to print currency paper in this country or not. Yet we see, despite huge cloud of suspicion, yet we see that the man who's representing them is allowed to openly participate in tender process, and he gets sold. He gets a tender process, he gets a tender through as well.
The document that we are talking about is an internal note of the finance ministry that was prepared, and it very clearly shows that this company it did not go through the mandatory tests.
It should not have been given the tender. Vipin Malik, how is it possible, Vipinji? How is it possible that when a company in the eyes of the finance ministry itself during the tenure of UPA 2 is blacklisted supposedly, is told that that this company should not be participating in this bid, yet this company gets a bid? What was going on, sir?
I am myself very much surprised because this company has breached all the layers which Bharatiya Reserve Bank Nod Mudran Limited, Currency Management of the Reserve Bank of India Limited, and ultimately the Ministry of Finance. It has breached all the layers and had entered into the security transaction, and that also the currency. And it means that they are helping the real enemies, because not only the paper they are supplying, but thread also, I am told, they are supplying that.
That's
also.
right. That's
security
right.
thread. Having said so, I can tell you one thing very clearly. There are layers of committees, interdepartmental committees, interministerial committees. If he has passed through all that and has entered these transactions, which of such a huge magnitude, not only of BRNBL but also the Hoshangabad press of the security printing press of the government, it means that some of the very important high up is involved, and who is very powerful.
Who? No, let's be clear.
I must compliment your team.
I want to be clear, sir. I'm glad you're saying that. Vipinji, I'm glad that you're saying this. There must be some very, very powerful person. Now, I want to know, sir. I want to know from you. This scam, Ashish, was, what's the time?
Very powerful
2011 to 2014?
2011 to 2014. That's what we're looking at. 2011
to 2014 is the tenure that we're looking at. It's the tenure of UPA 2. You, sir, have occupied the highest positions in banking industry. Why don't you tell us that who were the people? Who could be this most powerful man who could have influenced such a sensitive decision, sir?
You see, investigation department of the income tax department who has traced these transactions, they'll be able to tell you better because I don't have the facts at the moment with me, and it is not fair on my part to name or name anyone without seeing the papers.
No,
But even the income tax department will not be able to track that highest authority unless a CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, is involved in this, or they have given this matter. This matter should be taken very seriously, and I can assure you, if this matter is not tracked fully, the whatever the agencies are doing, all has to be re-looked into, whether they are doing correctly, whether such breaches have remained unnoticed, what exactly has happened, where such breach has taken, who has taken the money, who are the wheeler dealers. He is the main man. He is like a wind chadda of buffers. And he might run away from here.
So how do
he
you
has to be first tracked by
how
the
do you
CBI,
ensure
by registering a case?
That this cannot happen without a political patronage.
So Gopalji, how do you I mean, as a trained financial mind and as someone who looks at financial dealings and banking transactions in India, the fact that a company which is a tainted company under a cloud of suspicion firstly gets the contract, it participates in the tender, it gets the tender, it supplies currency notes, it supplies the threads for those currency notes, and the same company also supplies it to Pakistan.
No, this is not the company. This is a different
This
company.
is a different company. But the point which is being made there by Vipin, that the truth is that all this could not be possible operating at this level unless there is political patronage at the top. Please tell me, sir, you've now been in power for the last 2.5 years. I have not seen any big fish really being dealt with sternly. You all said Robert Vadra, you all said Vijay Mallya. The world was corrupt when you were in the opposition. But what have you done, sir, in these last 2.5 years?
So if you go into the details of what Modi government, our government has done over the last 3-4 years, why these so many exposes are coming?
Only exposures are coming.
No, but
nothing
there is an
happening, sir.
investigation is also there. This IT department in itself took this investigation and
Sir,
started.
here I would like to stop you. Because this scam was unearthed on the 26th of December when the income tax raid. It's more than 2 months. The company still continues to supply
but
paper.
you have to, if you go into the defense
this company
deals,
would have made a
if
bounty
you go
in
into the
supply of
defense
paper
deals
during the demonetization
sir,
period.
you have to understand, if we go into the defense deals or procurement of high-end security papers like this, how many players are there in the international arena? Actually, those products are not at question. The question is these middlemen. We have to fight the middlemen.
Is it the same company? Is it the? Can I just? No,
how many companies are supplying this high currency?
Good point. Good point. I agree with you.
And if you go into now, just wait. If you go into the defense deals, the level of procurement in our defense was
is this the same company? Is this the same company, Ashish, which would have printed these currency notes post demonetization?
Certainly, they have been supplying paper and currency
but
thread.
the quality of paper is not in question. The question
company,
yes,
who are not questioning the quality?
no, because the middlemen are being paid, which are not legally paid.
Are middlemen not in existence now, Vijayji?
No,
are middlemen not in existence?
are
That seems to be your defense. So Gopalji's defense is that boss middlemen were earlier, now middlemen not there. So the company which was tainted because it was operating through middlemen, now middlemen not there, company is fine. Is that the way I should read
that
it?
is not a question. You have to go for, if you go for Augusta Westland and other things, you have to go for procurement of defense.
I agree, sir. I'm not denying that.
Yes,
but I'm saying if you are on the question of process, I'm saying
and inherited a system which is.
I'm not interested in inheritance. Now this argument has been given, sir. I don't know for how long.
Why is the company still supplying?
What my friend is saying
let Vijayji speak.
is absolutely right. You know, after these facts have come, you know, this is such a serious matter. It's a printing of notes. You know, one of the most secure operation a country can undertake. In case there you find such a big scam and open bribery having taken place, and you have got a proof of it, the government should have stopped every other work and probe this case first. And so far, only you sitting with income tax probe. It means nothing. Income tax department.
And I'm looking. By the way, Gopalji, I must point out that I'm looking at this letter which was given by this company to the Reserve Bank of India, where it says clearly following people are being authorized to attend the bid opening for the tender on behalf of Erigoni Spa in order of preference. SP Gupta is the first person. This letter, folks, is dated 12th of January 2015. Now till 2014, it's the UPA 2 government. 2015, it's the BJP government.
No, but
Now,
what is the
2015, this letter was,
They will appoint some person.
Should you not, when this letter was sent to Reserve Bank of India, should there not have been some individual who would have questioned that why did this company 1 year back decide that we are not going to appoint someone?
No,
and
but
3 years
the
back said that
question
we are
is,
going to appoint
was
someone? If
there
you are
was a
against middlemen,
kickback or not?
if you are against middlemen, you are against middlemen.
We
You
are
against
against
middlemen.
for
Then why
kickbacks
is it that when
non-transparency?
this letter was sent to the
Non-transparency.
Reserve Bank of India,
It
why
is-
was there
If you
no
don't
urgency shown,
operate
sir?
through some person in India, then how will you operate? That's not the question.
But you are against
the
middlemen,
question,
you've just said.
middleman for kickbacks.
How do
It
you
is
know?
not.
Unless-
Otherwise,
That
how
was
will you do?
proved.
If
He's
the-
the middleman who has received kickbacks.
No,
It
no,
has been
that-
proved. This is the whole
that's
story.
because it has been caught. Ultimately, the government is trying to
Vijayji, what should
clear
no,
the
no, no.
system.
No, so okay, so
You have to operate through a system.
You have to operate through a
clear the
system.
Gopalji, this
system.
gentleman's
We have
name
inherited a
came in
system.
the Panama leaks.
Yes.
It's already
It
old
is
story.
already up in
But
this,
how it
this,
this new scam has come
Vijay,
out
Vijay,
because
Vijay,
of the
Vijay.
investigation
I want
of
to
the
know.
IT department.
I agree, sir.
Because of the
IT
demonetization process.
sir, yes, sir.
Because of the money, people are now forced to do their transactions through banking channel. Otherwise, he would have kept it cash.
Tell me, could a compromise, just like what we're saying that a compromise was done maybe when UPA 2 was in power, the fact that this letter which was sent by the company, and maybe Gopalji has a point when he says that if you don't have Indian representatives, then how will you do business? Italian companies or any foreign company
And the
requires Indian
kickback should be
representatives.
not there.
Maybe the government did not know that there were kickbacks, but I'm only on a simple point that the fact that one company decides to withdraw. Yeah, 1 second. So Vipinji, I'm coming to you. I just want to go to Vijayji and then I'm coming to you. The same company in 2014 first he said, I'm not appointing a middleman. Then a representative in 2015 said, I'm appointing a middleman. Should some agency in this government not have woken up and not have realized that maybe something is amiss here?
Bhupenji, this is the most shocking part. You know, you have certain principles. You have not allowed middlemen in any transactions, I tell you. Not only in defense, any transaction. They are not allowed.
Correct.
As per the CVC guidelines, as per the guidelines you set for yourself. And once you find a middleman acting on somebody's behalf, and later on say, even if 2 months have passed, the whole country, you know, the system should have immediately come down very heavily on this person. But what have you done? Nothing. For
Nothing.
2.5 months, nothing.
The problem is, what do you define as middleman? If you say that any representative or any employee or
You
any
receive
sort of
kickbacks.
thing, you will call it a middleman.
Can I go to
Middleman-
Vipinji? Can
Yeah,
I go to
yeah,
Vipinji?
definitely.
Let us clear that. Let us clear that. Now, this business of a representative who's a legal representative,
Let me
and somewhere along the line, that legal representative becomes a middleman. Now, how do you distinguish between these two, Vipinji?
let me clarify. Any foreign company who has to do business in India must open a liaison office, and to open a liaison office, you must have an approval of Reserve Bank of India that so and we are entering into the country for doing this business, so we will be permitted to open a liaison office. And Reserve Bank permits that liaison office for that company, and the only purpose of that liaison office that they can go and meet the officials of the government or Reserve Bank or BRNBL. So in this case also, it means that the foreign company, this Italian company, must have opened the liaison office and either use SP Gupta as a liaison office person, if that is the case. If that is not the case, then they are the real. They have done the violation. Both foreign company has done the violation and SP Gupta has done the violation. So I am not aware of. Some more research has to be done that what type of representations they were doing, whether they were doing through their
Paying
liaison office or they were
the
doing it on
violation
their
is
own.
not that just
So the
merely
violation is
appointing
not just this letter. What you're saying is violation is not the letter that
Appointing,
now
yeah.
appointing two people.
But the kickback is a violation, and it will come out of the investigation.
Kickback
What
starts
we
from
are
there.
doing
That's the point. Vipinji's point is that the kickback, the process of receiving or giving kickback starts from the point when you open this liaising office, right? Am I right, Vipinji?
So
Am I
we have
getting
done
it right?
away- Bhupendra, we have done away with consultants. Many consultants were working in the Ministry of Finance. They have been done away with. That they were doing advocacy, they were doing licensing. Our government is.
All I want to
cleaning
know
the
is this,
system.
Vipinji, you're the one person on this program who said that this entire scam could not have unfolded without the involvement of someone at the very top. Someone who was a very, very powerful person. Someone who could have moved wheels on both sides of the political divide. Are we really?
I have already said so.
I know. I'm asking you, sir. I'm really putting you on the hot seat. Do you believe we'll ever get to know of who this powerful person is? Are you convinced?
100% yes.
Yes,
If the investigation is proper by the CBI
if.
and genuine investigation, and
That's a big
there
if,
is
sir.
no interference, all the team who has done the work along with the CBI should be coordinated, and you will see that the real person who is
Before
the
I wrap
man
up,
behind it.
before I wrap up, let's
will
also be
caught.
clear, sir.
I can
We are
assure you
aware
one thing.
of the credibility of income tax authorities in this country. We are aware of how poor middle classes, despite assurances which have been given by the government, how they struggle. Do you really believe that income tax authorities and the CBI and every other wing in this government investigative wing will ultimately do investigations which will take us to someone at the very top in the previous government?
Bhupenji, this has not happened in our country in the past. It has not happened. You look at all the cases where big
Will it
politicians are
happen?
behind
Do
jail.
you believe it will happen?
If only courts have processed it, they have chased it, then only people have gone behind bars. Otherwise, if you, and this is my hunch,
Right.
if my experience says just like that, ordering a CBI inquiry will lead you nowhere and no big fish will ever be caught.
One small point I want to make is that the things boil down to exchange of information. We have done away with the non-transparent exchange of information with Singapore, Cyprus and Mauritius.
Well, I just hope that all these steps that you're talking about, Gopalji, ultimately lead us to one big fish. I want to know one big fish. I want to see one top-end politician in this country ever being put behind bars for his alleged or her alleged involvement in a case
by
of corruption.
our agencies without the intervention and pressure of courts.
Well, now that's a big if, and how the twain shall meet, I do not know. The jury will certainly be out on that one. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in our second big story in Big 5 at 10. And once again, compliments you, Ashish, for breaking the story, which I'm sure is going to shake the political establishment. We will continue to follow the story up. It has ominous ramifications, folks. When you're talking about a scam in the very printing of currency notes, you are effectively compromising with the very basis of internal security of this country.